I'm very passionate about you need to take your career where you want it to go. You need to make sure that you're learning as much as you can and that you're growing personally and, so that you can control your career.
In honor of International Women's Day, I'm excited to host a series of interviews with the incredible people of PPI. Through these conversations, we aim to share their inspiring journeys and recognize the significant contributions they make to our organization and the industry. So join us as we celebrate their stories and the impact they have on PPI. I'm here with Julie Martin, our leader of our National Operations Organization. Everybody in her organization is working towards being indispensable to advisors, whether it's handing a new insurance application or in-force services. So Julie, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad to be here.
We're going to go right back to the beginning and tell us where you were born and raised and what career did you think you were going to have when you grew up?
So I was born and raised in Belleville, Ontario, which is along the 401 in Eastern Ontario. And the career I chose to pursue, I knew I wanted very early in high school was to be an accountant. I loved problem solving and numbers, and I actually have to, I think there's something genetic in my family because my whole family are accountants.
That's what I recalled. So you come by it naturally.
I do.
And certainly in the part of the organization that you're with, being very familiar with the business helps big time.
Yeah. My accounting background certainly has done a lot of benefit for me in my career working in the insurance industry, understanding numbers, spent a lot of time in commissions. So it's done me well over the years.
You know it. That's great. So what was your first paying job that you ever had?
Well, probably I guess would be babysitting. But my real first job, I started to work at the Dairy Queen when I was 14.
Dairy Queen? Yeah. What was your favorite Dairy Queen?
Well, they didn't have all the fancy blizzards that they have now. My favorite was hot fudge and marshmallow sundae.
Amazing. With
Peanuts on top.
Oh. So what motivates you to get up and bring your best self to PPI every day?
I've always been pretty driven to, do the best I can, get to work, make a difference. I love, finding where things don't work the way they're supposed to and find positive ways to change them, to, just make things better.
Yeah, a natural curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, certainly you've done a lot to help streamline the organization at PPI already. So I know we appreciate that most definitely. You love to golf. You have 2 boys, your husband, and of course you're always busy at work. So how do you manage your personal and professional life?
Kathy, I've been busy my whole life, like between school, work. I played a lot of sports when I was growing up. I've always learned just how to juggle and keep busy and keep active. I make sure that I, focus on the important things, be there for the big important things. And quite frankly, I don't sweat the small stuff, or I try not to. And I outsource some things in my life so I can be more present with my family.
Very good. Outsourcing is a good thing to do, especially if it's those jobs you don't like to do.
Yeah, we made a decision early on in my life that I was not going to spend my weekends cleaning my house when I'd rather spend it with my kids. So
very good.
Small investment in good quality family time.
Yeah, very good. When you look at your career so far, what's been the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome?
I guess having change forced upon you. And what I mean by that is I've, twice in my career, my job has been found redundant or restructured out. At a point when I wasn't really expecting it. And so, you just kind of dust yourself off, pick yourself up, figure out where you want to go next and make sure that I'm learning along the way transferable skills so that I know that I'll have the opportunity to find another job if something happens. I think I'm very passionate about you need to take your career where you want it to go. You need to make sure that that you're learning as much as you can and that you're growing personally, and so that you can control your career.
Yeah. And if I recall, it was during one of the reorganizations that you ended up coming to PPI, helping PPI with an integration of an organization that they had acquired.
Exactly.
So
good things come from bad situations.
Yeah, they usually do for good people. Yeah. Absolutely. Tell us about, and I have no doubt in your career and in your life, you've had a lot of different role models. But is there a role model that really sticks out for you?
There is. I mean, I've had lots of great leaders over my career, but the role model that sticks out the most for me is my father.
Tell me more.
Oh, I'm going to get emotional. He was a great role model. I mean, I've been in the industry a very long time, and back when I was in school and living at home, women were focusing on raising families and finding a husband, whereas my dad really forced me to make sure that I was focused on getting a good education, learning as much as I could. He led by example. He was a very hard worker, worked long hours, and was very committed to providing good service to his customers. He was a partner in an accounting firm, a small accounting firm, and so he really pushed me to accept that there was no limitations and that there was no barriers. I just work hard and work and strive for big things.
Well, I can see why you'd be your role model, most definitely. What advice would you have for young people starting their careers today?
Be curious. Understand, ask questions, continue to learn, and be flexible. Things happen, come to you, be open enough to try different things and have confidence that you have the skill set to do that, even if you're not sure you do. I mean, I always say fake it till you make it, but I think there's a little bit in that. Like, you have confidence in your capabilities.
Yeah, you have to be willing to kind of step in, even if you're not sure if you have it all, right?
Yeah, exactly. And confident you can learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometime down the road, you might retire. What do you want to be remembered for, though? What's your legacy?
I think that I was there for my family, that I was supported them in growing into the strong, competent men that they are today. That I was, to be seen as a supportive, fair, and trusted leader. And that I made a difference in that, together we were able to continue to provide great service and, continue to add value to the business.
Yeah, very good. And Julie, a lot of other work that you do, you're involved with CALBA. And can you share a little bit about what you do in your volunteer time within the industry?
Certainly, I've been involved with APEXA from day one, helped build and shape the service that APEXA is today.
Yeah.
I've been involved in the Colitis board meeting, or board since about a year or two after I joined PPI.
Yeah.
I was involved with it previously, but not on the board.
Right.
And I am very passionate about data and the value that it brings to our organization, and the need for our carriers to be able to help us with getting us the data that we need to be a more efficient and effective organization. So I would say, a strong advocate for that within the industry, and working with CALBA, just learning and networking with our peers and our carrier partners to better understand where we can add value. Yeah. So I think those outside activities help drive what we do within PPI.
Absolutely. And your voice around the table for the betterment of an advisor's life or making it easier for advisors is critical in the industry. So thank you for taking on those different tasks and those leadership roles within the industry. So
happy to do it. I love it.
Thank you for today and for sharing, and appreciate your story.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy. It's been great.